As we sit here right now, like I did mention, we are a day out from Super Tuesday. When the results start coming in and we start analyzing them Tuesday night, Wednesday morning, what are you looking out for?
Well, first, I think we're all curious. Could Nikki Haley win somewhere? I think American Samoa is on for Super Tuesday. I think that's right. That's just out of curiosity, right? It doesn't really have much impact. Some will look at the margins, like as I said earlier in the interview, Virginia. There's some polls that are suggesting that Nikki Haley's within 10 points of the former president. That may be interesting, kind of parlor talk. But I think what you're going to have after Super Tuesday is former President Donald Trump with an insurmountable lead. And it'll only be a question of, does he wrap it up by Louisiana's primary, which I think is the next one to follow, or does he have to wait another week after that? In the month of March, the Republican Party will declare we have a nominee.
There doesn't seem, obviously, in this primary season, too much appetite for Nikki Haley. So what is her strategy here of staying in? Because other pollsters, other strategists I've talked to say the longer she stays in, the less of a political future she has. So what do you make of this?
I totally agree with that point of view. I think she's burned every Republican bridge behind her. She's doing that by the day. I thought that maybe there was a strategy behind it. The strategy was that she's maybe setting herself up for a third party run. She has sounded somewhat independent of late. And I thought that was all very purposeful, potentially, but clearly not. And the idea that Nikki Haley can kind of soldier on, lose all of these races, and then in 2028, when there would be a potential opening for her to run again, that somehow memories will be short. I don't buy that. Memories will be long, especially in the core of the base, and they're going to remember how she refused to step aside for the former president, and I don't think that augurs well for a future within the party. Now, her future somewhere else, in some other fashion, that's where the parlor game and conversation will come into play. It'll be fascinating to talk about, but I think what she's done is she's effectively ended her chances of being a major Republican nominee for the Republican Party for president.
Super Tuesday is always an exciting night to cover, an exciting night to watch on the news. But I am curious, I mean, you're effectively saying her presidential run is dead in the water. Does the results of this Super Tuesday even matter?
It does if she can show that there's any life, right, under the sea. But most likely, there's going to be no life. And I think, I would argue that a lot, and Democrats have argued this too, Brittany, that who are concerned about President Biden and thought that he should have stepped aside and allowed others within the party to run in 24. There's a sense of stubbornness or hubris, I think, that's attached to that. I would say the same thing would be in play here with Nikki Haley, because I can't explain her, if I don't understand her strategy, and if there is no strategy other than just to soldier on, why she's still doing this. She's doing this to protest against Donald Trump, who she served, of course, as U.S. ambassador, and said great things about, and said, of course, publicly, months ago, she would support the Republican nominee for president, whoever that is. So what's the reason for this other than hubris and stubbornness on her side of the ledger?
And it seemed like she walked that back this weekend or over the past few days, too. She initially said it, now she's walking it back. So a lot remains to be seen over the next few days. Per usual, Adam, thank you so much for breaking it down. I'm already looking forward to our next conversation.